I'm Cynthia Scott with Cynthia Scott Insurance Agency here in the great state of Georgia. But we're going to talk about the danger of only having life insurance through your employer. The 3 U's are, it could leave you, 1, underinsured. Okay? This is your first U, being underinsured. Now, what does that mean? Okay, glad you asked. So, being underinsured is it is a situation where the life insurance coverage that is provided through your employer may not be sufficient to meet your financial needs or your dependents or beneficiaries in event of your demise. Okay? Alrighty, here we go. So, being underinsured is through your employer. They have a minimum, and I'm sure they have a max. More so a max than a minimum, right? Maybe. Okay? Of coverage that you can have. Now, if this is the only coverage that you have, only life insurance that you have, you don't have any at home, and this is all you depend on, okay? And you have dependents at home, 1 child, 5 children, husband, wife, home, and all of your assets. You have those. And all of the life insurance that you have is the only through your employer. And if there is a minimum amount, and if you be honest, right? If you're honest with yourself, and if you're honest with your family, you will soon realize that that coverage that you have on the job could lead you underinsured. Okay? Because why? It's not going to be adequate enough coverage for your beneficiary or beneficiaries, your spouse, your children. It's not going to be enough, right? Because remember, through your employer, they're only concerned about just maybe getting some benefits offered to you. And that is a big thing now, right? It's a big attention grabber when an employer is advertising for work, right? For new workers. They're advertising bonuses and health insurance and benefits and all of that, right? But does it really benefit you and your family and what you have going on, right? So do not allow the life insurance that you have through your employer be your end all, be all coverage for your family, because 9 out of 10, it is not enough. It is not enough coverage. And if this is all you're dependent on, you are underinsured. And I'm telling you this because you do not have to wait to retire. You don't have to wait to be sick, become sick, ill, and cannot work before you realize this. I'm telling you this now so that you can be mindful of what you need to do. Okay? And that is making sure that if you're going to have life insurance, have enough of life insurance. Now, if there are some things in your health and all of this stuff that is preventing you from getting as much coverage, I understand that. Okay, I've been in the industry 18 years. I understand that. Okay? But there are so many that are underinsured because they're not thinking. Nobody is saying to you, what about the life insurance on your job, right? If you're going to have coverage, have some coverage and not depend on that group coverage that will end as soon as you leave. Rather that be retirement, sickness, cause you to come out of the workforce. Okay? Underinsured. You don't want to be left underinsured. That's your first U. That's your first U. Underinsured. Okay? So because most of your employer sponsored life insurance often offers a fixed amount, or they may say a multiple amount of your salary as covered, okay? And in many cases, the amount may not be enough to cover your long financial obligations, such as your mortgage payments, your education, your expense, and your other debts in event of your demise. Want you to remember that. Being underinsured means that your loved ones might not be financially protected in event of some hardship if you were to pass away. Okay? And as the insurance payout may not be adequate to replace your income or cover essential expenses. This is part of being underinsured. So the next one could lead you uninsured. Okay? Uninsured. So now what does that mean? Uninsured is when you rely solely on your employer's life insurance and you lose your job or you leave the company. You may become uninsured. Okay? This means that you may no longer have life insurance. Okay? Now, let's talk about that for a minute. Uninsured. So, if you find out in your homework, right, that your, or not yours, the life insurance that the employer is offering you is not portable. If it's not portable, meaning when you retire, you cannot take it with you. If you get sick, go on disability, eventually short term, then long term, and then you're going to be out term, right? And you can't take it with you because it's still not portable. That can leave you uninsured. I see this more than anything when it comes to employer benefits and individuals retiring, particularly retiring, okay, or getting sick, right? But I see a lot of it when people are retiring. And recently had a gentleman, 70 years old, okay, brought me his papers. All right, so uninsured. It is important to understand that employer-sponsored life insurance typically ends when you leave the job. Uninsured is where you will be, possibly, highly likely, if you're only dependent on your life insurance through your employer. Okay? All right. So that's the second U. The second U. The first one was underinsured. Now we got uninsured. Okay? And the third one is going to be uninsurable. Being uninsurable. Okay? So, what we're talking about? We're talking about the dangers of only having life insurance benefits through your employer. Okay? Only having life insurance through your employer. The danger, the unknown of what will happen when you retire, when you leave the job, if and when you get sick and you can no longer work. Okay? What happens? So your third U out of the three U's is going to be uninsurable. Now, this refers to a situation where an individual is unable to obtain life insurance coverage from any source, typically due to significant health issues or high risk factors. So, let's set that up. I have a story for that too. You're working on your job for 30, 40 years, and it doesn't have to be that long, but this is what I normally see, okay? All right? I normally see this. Individual working for 20 plus years, leave the job. Nobody never gave them homework like I'm giving you to ask the question if it's portable. Nobody never gave it to them. No discussion, no thought. I have coverage on the job, right? It happens. You leave the job for whatever reason. And now your health has changed. You've been there 30 years, my God. The conditions of the job and everything else has led you to have some health issues. So now you come off the job, whether it be health related or just say, okay, I'm finally going to retire. And when you do, you have significant health issues that prevents you from getting life insurance. Now you're left uninsurable. That is really, really tough for a family, for dependents. And you can actually be on a job 20 or 30 years, retire or leave that job, and you're still considerably young, right? Think about someone that has a health issue that pushes them on out of the workforce. Been on the job 30 years, still young, health issues leads to uninsurable. And because you're uninsurable, That means that the insurance companies don't want to touch you for whatever reason. They don't want to touch you. I know this so well. Relying solely on your employer provided life insurance can leave you vulnerable if you develop health conditions that make it difficult or impossible to secure individual life insurance coverage at home. It makes it difficult for you to get insurance when you have health insurance. What are the chances of you getting your health right and getting it stable and keeping it stable for a few years? Insurance companies they're going to look back. They're going to look back a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, 4 or 5 years, depending on what that health issue is. But what's the chances of you getting your health together so that you can almost say restart, right? Though it's possible, but the chances are slim, because whatever that health issue is, you think there's no help for you anyway. So the chances of you recovering for that, again, it is possible if you set your mind to do it and you say, okay, I got to get my health together because I need to make sure that my family's taken care of. I don't have any life insurance, or I have some, I need more. And then, you possibly could eventually get more life insurance. But in the meantime, in between time, and the likelihood of an individual, I say the likelihood, but many people don't do it. They don't recover from that health issue, right? They don't even know how to recover from it. They think that it's the end, right? So, but there is a way to get yourself together, right? So that you can change your health status, so that you can then get adequate life insurance for your family, for your beneficiary. But if you don't, and in the meantime, in between time, you're going to be uninsurable, depending on how bad that health is. What does your family do then? I don't know. So these are the benefits of having your own life insurance policy at home for ownership. And there's so much more value in doing that. Not just for your family, but for you, and the living benefits that could be inside of the policy, and how you can utilize that policy throughout your life, long before your demise. Okay? So if you become uninsurable and you are solely dependent on your employer coverage, your financial safety net may be compromised. Okay? May be compromised. Uninsurable. Your financial safety net is compromised when you only have it through your employer. Now, again, don't get me wrong, right? Understand what I'm getting at. Again, if they're offering you the coverage through your employer and you can afford it and it's coming out of your check, it's convenient, right? Do it. So I never totally depended on the insurance through my employer. I did take advantage of it, but that's not what I only had, right? So as we are, building our financial portfolio, and we know that a great percentage of your portfolio is based on life insurance. You're going to have all other pieces of the pie on there. Your investments, your retirement, your assets, all your other assets. Life insurance is a piece of the pie that makes your financial portfolio complete. On your financial portfolio, and it says life insurance and then sub under there on the job. And when you do that, I want you to make sure that you and your family is protected. You and your family have adequate coverage and not left with the 3 U's: uninsured, underinsured, and uninsurable. Those are the 3 U's that leads to you only having life insurance through your employer.